Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Himprasad, sir. Good afternoon, all. So welcome back, all the participant. After post lunch, I know that half an hour is not sufficient to take a lunch, but considering the work from home, so we have kept such time. So welcome again in the afternoon session of Python journey. So resource person is now available with us. Mr. Tushar Kute sir is now with us. So now he will take you the next visualization journey. Okay, so I request Tushar Kute sir. So please continue with this session, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Good
Welcome,
afternoon,
sir.
all. We'll go to the second part of data visualization. We have seen the basics about data visualization, different kind of graphs. Practically, also we have talked about the Matplotlib. Uh, Now in this session, we'll talk about the data frame-based visualization. So using Seaborn, it's possible to visualize the data, another package. But before that, in very short time, I'll take the overview of data frame's own visualization technique. Data frame internally contains some method with the help of it. It's also possible to perform operational visualization of data frame. Though the pandas is specially used for structured data analysis like series and data frame are, we can use it to visualize the data from series, or we can use to visualize the data from the data frame also. We'll look at that and then we'll go for advanced data visualization with the help of the Seaborn. So let's see that. I'll share my screen and we'll continue with the program. Okay, so just check it out. Yeah. Okay, so we'll create a new file. Okay, pandas package that we have seen yesterday, it's used for structured data analysis. Data analysis, many functions, many operation attributes that we can apply, and as per our requirement we can get your task done from here. But data frame class itself contains the function to plot the data also. So first of all, I'll just read my data set here. Let's see that how the data frame based visualization is done. You'll see. So the file that we have seen yesterday, it was the student.csv file. Okay, so that file I'll read it here, and using this, okay, this is the file that what we have seen. Okay, it contains roll number, name, class, marks, age. And out of all, roll, marks, and age, these are the columns which are numeric values. Okay, the numeric values. And if you want to do visualizations, you can make these numeric values. Even name can also be used, because we have seen that in bar plot it's possible to do the same. Okay, now see, if I want to do the plot, if you want to use the plots on the data frame, directly the plot function is there. If I use this like df.plot, data frame which was imported, and I have applied the function plot to it, see, it will use the numerical data, and according to this line plot will be visualized. Can be seen. You can see this one. See, df.plot, and the orange one is showing the roll number, sorry, marks. Then the green line is showing age, and the blue line is showing the roll numbers. How they're incrementing. Roll number is actually not used for that visualization here, but it's okay. You can see the trend in that. This is a simple direct function I've applied, but rather than that, it's possible to have different kind of plots also. Like for example, I want to show this data into a bar plot or into a stacked bar plot. Let's see, into a stacked bar plot. So how to do this one? Let's see. Concept of plots are known to us. I'll just show you how it's possible to directly apply from the same. See, I'm creating a new data frame from the original one. Like we can have the roll number, then marks, and age. So only numerical data points are extracted from it, and then we'll use new dot plot dot bar. Okay, you can see this. So multiple bar plots, 3 elements are there, and from that 3 elements I have made the bar plot. See, plot dot bar. So roll number is shown. So here also is ability that we are not applied any color coding to it, or not use the grid also. But that facilities are can be taken from matplotlib also. You can use matplotlib function also to decorate this particular plot. But direct function you can use. See, you can just now compare all how roll numbers are changing. It's obviously it's incrementing, and how edges are there, how the marks are there. So default data frame internally I'm applying. If I want this data to be in the stacked format, now see, I'll just make use of one extra parameter to this function. Okay, like stacked is equal to true. Now see, this is a stacked bar chart. Multiple bar and now stacked bar. They are combining all together, and how much share is there for roll number, for name, for age, that we can see. Basically, these 3 elements are completely independent of each other. But whenever you have to use this entry, this kind of operations on the data frame, so this is the way that you can choose to perform operations with. Or similar operation if you want to do in the horizontal bar. So new is the data frame, remember, plot, and under that what type of plot you require, that we mentioned, plot dot bar h, horizontal bar. Now see, the bars are now horizontally seen. That's what we can check. Fine. Cutting. Now, next one. If I want to show the histogram, so new dot hist direct function is there. So in this particular plot, 3 columns are there. For 3 columns, 3 histograms can be seen. Now see, roll number is uniformly distributed completely. Marks, you can see in what range marks are there. Okay, automatic adjustment, there is no any extra parameter that I passed. Even I have not created this subplot also, then also these plots are shown here by using hist function directly. This method we can use to show it, or even direct hist is there, but I can make use of new dot plot dot hist. It's also one of the method that I can use it here. But the difference is that in this particular plot, I can view all the entry in the single plane. Single plane. So you can see all of the roll numbers from 0 to 10 only. Okay, in that range. Or we can see all the marks are in 20 to 30 range, something below above. So here also you can apply. Then all the marks are from 50 to 80 something, 40 something. That ranges are there. You can observe this now. This is how combinations of all. So if you want to separately create these plots for histogram, I can use hist function directly to the data frame. And if I want to plot all the histogram at a time, so I can use this function. So any, as per your requirement, you just can choose this particular plots here. Fine. Let's go with the next plot. That is a box plot. So let's see, new dot plot dot box. See, so ranges of roll number you can see here. Ranges of roll numbers here, they are present from 0 to 10. Then marks are here. Marks is here. This is what uniform distributed data is there. Perfect box is created, and the green line, that is median, is at the center of it. Fine. Here the marks is the range of marks, quartile values, median, and these are the ages. One I think element is there, which is outliers, which is 23 age, I think. So remaining others are 19, 20, 21, and one is there in 23, whose name is shown, whose entry is shown as an outliers there. Fine. So box plot directly you can plot by this method. Or if I want to plot the area plot, we have seen that, but area plot was not present in Matplotlib. Area. See the area plot. By comparison, just like it's an extension of the line plot, So instead of line, we have they have shown the area completely, which is covered by the respective element. Fine. It's called as area plot. Directly, you can use area. Yes. Now let's use a scatter plot. But scatter plot directly cannot be plotted. We need to pass what we require on the x-axis and what is on y-axis. That's what we require. So let's say on x-axis, I require a roll number, and on y-axis, I require marks. So scatter plot. Here also, the x-axis name and y-axis name has automatically come. Okay, and accordingly, we can see the data distribution in that roll number and marks. See, fine, scatter plot. So there we need to pass that parameters. Remember, then only can use it. Now, next is pie chart. New dot plot dot pie. Okay, any parameter. Okay, sorry. So use either you have to use column name or subplot, because three different entities are there. So when you see the plot for that, the three plots will be visible. There are the three plots, as we can see. Just a minute. So basically, they are not intended for it. So I require import this is figure size. Okay. Sorry, plot is not used afterwards. That's what is not showing it. Fine. So three elements are there: roll number, marks, and age. Okay, so you can see this. So they're showing that actually this data is not created for this particular pie chart, but it's okay. That's we can apply this. So I just want to say these functions I can directly use on data frame, but they are very basic functions are there. We have to do something extra, many abilities from data frames. So to perform this kind of operations, we have to use a special package of Python, and that package is Seaborn. So with the help of Seaborn, it's possible to view the data in data frame pattern. But what exactly Seaborn is, and what different kind of graphs are there? Before that, let's get introduced with the Seaborn. So as you know, in the world of analytics, the best way to get insights is by visualizing the data. Okay, is by visualizing the data. We visualize the data. So data can be visualized by presenting plot. So we can understand, explore, and graph. So such helps for drawing attention to the key elements. Now, to analyze a set of data using Python, we make use of Matplotlib, which is widely implemented 2D plotting library. Okay, Matplotlib that can be used there. Likewise, Seaborn is a visualization library in Python. It is built on the top of Matplotlib. See, using the concepts of Matplotlib, the Seaborn library is created. Internally, its complete programming is done with the help of Seaborn internal packages, but it is used to minimize the efforts required to write the Matplotlib functions. Or even most of the graphs, novel different ideas of graphs, different kind of type of graphs are now available here to work on it. Now, if you compare the idea of Seaborn with the Matplotlib, it summarizes that if Matplotlib tries to make easy thing easy, okay, and hard thing possible, Seaborn tries to make well-defined set of hard thing easy also. Well-defined set of hard thing easy. So whatever functions we have seen is that present in Matplotlib, that can be minimized with minimal number of functions, with minimum number of efforts, code. I can visualize my data in by multiple different ways, which is possible with the help of Seaborn here. Seaborn helps to resolve two major problems which are faced by the Matplotlib. The problems are like default Matplotlib parameters. The function contains some parameter default, or we have to change it, or we have to use extra functions for performing this. Just like I want to show the legend, so I need to have legend there. I need to assign the labels to the X and Y. Okay, or I need to assign the color separately for the values. So these are the problems. Here, these parameters we need to pass explicitly to the functions. That's why length of the code increases. Second case, working with the data frames. So directly with the data frame, it's not possible to work in Matplotlib. Data frame package, data frame class itself contains the graph, but they are very basic graphs, which we have already seen in Matplotlib. But if I want to use actual complex graphs that will help us to do the data analytics and find the novel insights in the data, so Seaborn will help us for this. So Seaborn complements and extend Matplotlib. Like gradual curve is there for learning. So if you know Matplotlib, you're already halfway through the Seaborn library. So whatever visualization you need to know, that's all are present in the Seaborn. Means basic graphs plus advanced graph plus combinations of the graphs. And some graphs are supporting the ideas of regression also. That also we'll see here. What features Seaborn is containing? How it is separated from the Matplotlib? So maybe we have seen the concept of Matplotlib. We have gone through the packages. We have seen the concept of it. So enhancing that concept is done with the help of the Seaborn. So as it told, it is built on the top of Python's core visualization library, Matplotlib. It means to serve as a complement and not a replacement. Not replacement. However, Seaborn comes with some very important features. See, what are the features? The first, built-in theme for styling Matplotlib graphics. Inbuilt themes, some more interactivity is present. Color mappings are present. Just can use that color. Cool themes are there. Interactive themes are that can be added afterwards. Then, yeah, Seaborn can be used for both. It can be used for visualizing univariate data and bivariate data. Univariate data means only single set of data is there, just like we have seen this concept in the histogram, univariate data. And bivariate data, when you have two element to compare on, like in scatter plot we can compare, or using bar plot we can compare, or we can visualize it. So both of them. Or if your data is multivariate, that data can also be visualized with the help of the Seaborn. Fine. So fitting in and visualizing linear regression models, just as I told already, like some statistical algorithms or ML algorithms like regression, linear regression especially, to visualize it. So if you are using visualization using Matplotlib, so we need to separately do this task. Original data and predicted data and a line. But inbuilt functions are provided by Seaborn to visualize the data in linear regression format. Remember, okay, that's what can see, and then it's possible to plot statistical time series data also with the help of Seaborn. Statistical and time series data plotting is also possible by Seaborn. It works well with NumPy, Pandas data structures. So as we have seen, Matplotlib is connected with the NumPy package, numerical Python that we can use, and the Pandas library also data frame package if you want to work with, it's possible. But especially when the parameters are passed to the functions in Seaborn, they can directly take data frame as the parameter to it. That's it. And one more, it comes with the built-in theme for styling Matplotlib graphics. So in most cases, you will still use Matplotlib for simple plotting. Remember, plotting is very simple in Matplotlib. So when you need that simple plotting, so don't go away from the Matplotlib. Just can use Seaborn for the same. The knowledge of Seaborn is Matplotlib is recommended to tweak Seaborn's default plots. So expected that we should have knowledge of the Matplotlib there. So how to install it? The commands are shown here, but if you're using Google Colab, Google Collaboratory, or you're using Anaconda, so in that, Seaborn is pre-built available. It's pre-defined, pre-installed, available. And it's basically focused on Python 3.4 onwards, NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, and the Matplotlib library. So using that, the Seaborn is present. Okay, so let's go with that. I'll check it out, the Seaborn, before starting. We'll just talk about data frame we require. So data frames are pre-built and they're available here in the Seaborn already. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. We'll just check the Seaborn's official website. See. So pydata.org, we have seen that yesterday, pandas.pydata.org. So PyData has created this library. That's why Seaborn is specially supported for data frame. Seaborn.pydata.org. Yes, see this one. So the different kind of graphs that we can plot with Seaborn. So it's a Panda data visualization library used on Matplotlib. Interface for drawing attractive and informative statistical graphics is possible by this. Current version is 0.11.1 that you can use. Okay, now, so here is the tutorial present. If you want to go ahead, the user guide, complete overview of different kind of the plots that we can see here. So many interactive plots, but let's try to understand how these libraries, how these functions are basically used in the Seaborn. How do I make use of different kind of data frames, and with the help of this data frame, how it's facilitated to use the Seaborn library. Okay, so here this thing is available. You just can check it, and even if you want to know tutorial in the PDF format, so all they are present here also. Okay, so currently that's what we don't require. So let's go with the practical implementation of it. Just a minute. Okay. Now, before proceeding, we need to know about the data frame. So we should try to understand data frame first. Some data frames are there, which are pre-built available in the Seaborn library. Okay, they are pre-built available in the Seaborn library, so we will use it. Now let's see. Import. Import Seaborn as SNS. SNS is a short name that data scientists prefer to for the Seaborn library. And now, if I want to use some data frames, they are pre-built available in the Seaborn. So when I'm using some examples here, I'll be making use of the similar kind of data frames here. So let's see the data frames. SNS dot. See, just a minute. A set of data set that we can see. Sorry, get data set names. This function will show you the data sets which are predefined and they are available in the Seaborn. Check it out. These are few 14, 15 data sets are present. Out of it, we'll be using few of them, like exercise we'll use iris, we'll use tips, we'll use Titanic. These 4 data set we'll see. So before actually performing operation, we need to understand what kind of data is present inside that data frame. Then only we'll go ahead. So let's start with the first one, that is iris. So to load a data set, we need to use, let's use iris is equal to SNS dot load data set iris, and that I have stored in the name iris there. Iris is very commonly used data set. See, you can see this iris. There's a flower. His name is iris, and that flower contains the petals and sepals. Okay, 2 elements are there, petals and sepals. So the length of the petal and the width of petal and on sepal, so they all that predefined here, and accordingly the species of the respective flower is defined, whether it's setosa, versicolor, or virginica. 3 different kind of classes are there. It's a classification data set also, but it's used for clustering also. So any machine learning algorithm of classification type can be applied onto it. So sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, all they are continuous variables, and species is the output variable, which is categorical, which contains 3 categories there. If you just want to see that, can check this. For example, see, if you want to set the set of iris of species, see, setosa, versicolor, virginica. Three types are there, three kind of data is present. So according to that 150 different rows are there in it. See, 150 rows and 5 columns are present. So 50 of setosa, 50 of virginica, 50 of versicolor, that entries are shown there. So accordingly, the inputs are given, sepal, petal, length and width. This data set is used to build a model and is to predict that when the new flower is coming, that flower is in setosa category, versicolor category or virginica category. Like all. That's what the classification data set is there, which is used here in the C1. Now let's start with the univariate distribution first. The distribution of data, univariate means single column or single element will be using to show the visualization. Distribution of data is foremost within that we need to understand while analyzing the data. So here we will use C1 to which helps us in understanding the univariate distribution of the data. Univariate distribution. So just like histogram we have used, histogram is one of the best way to analyze the data which is in univariate form. So we have a function here called a dist plot. The function dist plot provides the most convenient way to take quick look at the univariate distribution. Univariate distribution. So this function will plot histogram that fits the kernel density estimation of the data. The function name is dist plot that we use. So as we know histogram already, the same idea of plot is used here. So let's go with that, how to use it. Iris will be making use of. So let's use SNS dot dist plot. Okay. And to this dist plot, we have to pass a single parameter, iris of, let's use sepal length. Now you can see this. So data distribution as well as we can see the kernel density estimation also, that is called as KDE plot. You can see this. Here the Bell curve is there. So KDE plot we call kernel density estimation, how the probability are distributed, where the high are there, where the low are present, that we can identify with the help of the KDE plot here, like this. So both are possible. At a time, on this particular plane, we can plot the histogram as well as the kernel density estimation plot also in this way. Okay. If you want to disable it, so I just can make use of one method. So I'll just show you this. So the parameter KD I'll apply. KD is equal to false. So the KD is made false, so kernel density estimation will not be shown to you. You will get only the histogram like this, histogram of it. Simple. So univariate analysis is also possible. Basically, data frame contain a set of elements that we need, but maybe it's not always required here in time. So KD means KD is a way to estimate the probability density function of continuous and random variable. If you have heard about the probability density function, so that's what we can apply here. There's a plot that also we can, it's called as a KDE plot. Especially this is a dist plot. See, for example, if I want, this is a combination that we have seen both. Okay. What I want only KDE plot here. See, only KDE plot. The probability distribution, kernel density estimation plot that can be seen. You can see starting from some less than 4 to some greater than 8 there. And highest number of elements are present in between these 5 to 7. So Bell curve is there. Almost normally distributed data is present inside it without any outliers. Data is normally distributed that we can see. Or if you want to check this for all, so you just can check it out. For sepal width, see, yeah. So also almost perfect density estimation is there. Or if you require petal, yeah, here we have 2. Here less density is there between 2 to 4. But again, 4 to 6 is high, 2 to 0 to 2 is again high. Here is very less. That's why it's shown like that. Or if we go for petal width, here same concept is there for petal length and petal width. Sepal length, sepal width are good. So this is a KDE plot that we can use. So KDE plot can also be seen by using separate function of KDE plot there, and combinations of both also is possible directly by using dist plot. Okay, that's what we can see, parametric distribution. Now this concept is called as the univariate distribution. Let's go for the bivariate distribution. Bivariate distribution used to determine the relation between two variables, one variable on x-axis, another variable on y-axis. That's what we can see. Now, bivariate distributions mainly dealing with the relationship between two variables and how one variable is behaving with others. So many functions are there which are used to do that. We'll start with the first bivariate distribution. It's called a joint plot. This joint plot is used to show two plots at a time, which is combinations of scatter plot and the histogram. So a joint plot creates a multi-panel figure that projects the bivariate relationship between two variables and also the univariate distribution of each variable on the separate axis. So let's see the joint plot now. Now onwards, we are specifying the data frame as a part of the function there. So let's say I want to show the plot that will demonstrate relationship between sepal length and sepal width of that data set. So let's see. X side, let's have sepal length, and Y side sepal width, and data is DF. See this. Oh, something is missing. What's missing? Data is iris. See this. Now see, this graph is the combinations of scatter plot and the histogram. Now see what I have given an x-axis, sepal length. Y-axis we got the sepal width. Okay, and the relation between both of these variables we can see in the form of a scatter plot in between. Here is a scatter plot. Okay, so all these points representing the actual element for sepal length and sepal width. And if you just check the opposite axis on the top x-axis and or the right y-axis here, so here we are having the histogram for sepal length. This is sepal length histogram. You can see the distribution of the data, and here we have the histogram for sepal width. See, high density is present here in this range. Here also high density is in this range. Okay, or if you want to move ahead, sepal length against petal width. Now see this. Yeah, so here you can observe there is nothing present in between these two, so it's zero. Density is zero here, from 1.0 to something 0.4 or 3. Nothing is present, completely empty. And here high density is present, high number of elements. You can observe it here. So it is showing that one. So the combinations of histogram and the scatter plot, both we can draw with the help of a bivariate distribution graph called as the joint plot. So this is the way that we can use. So instead of that joint plot, so joint plot contains one parameter there. It's called as kind. What type of plot you want? So basically there are two more kind of plot we can have. We can have a kind called as hex bean plot. So hexagonal binding is used in the bivariate data analysis when the data is sparse in density, that is when the data is very scattered and difficult to analyze to scatter plots. So we can make use of a hex bean there. So let's see that. I'll just copy it and check the kind of the plot here. So according to density, we can just check it out. where high number of elements are there, that will be shown. See, this is what we call about the heat map. Highest density is there, the color is dark, and then where the low density, according to the intensity of color will go down. Intensity of the color will go down. See that. Here intensity is very less. This point. Here also nothing is there almost. But here is the highest intensity of data. You can see this is the highest bar within this range. Here also high intensity is present. So using the heat map, the color combinations, it's perfectly can be seen. So what kind of graph you require? So check this one. Or even for the kind, I can use the KDE plot also. KDE, kernel density estimation. Now I can see here we are getting the kernel density estimation for sepal length. That's where we have seen already. And for petal width, this one. Here low densities are there. Here high densities are concentrated. That's what we can identify as in the type of KDE. So it depends. So in what particular format you need to visualize, you need to show your results or show your findings. So accordingly, the type of plot, type of graph, we can use it here. This is the method that we can use the joint plots. Fine. Now let's go with the pairwise relationship. Pairwise relationship. So pairwise, like data set under real-time study, contain many variables. In such cases, the relation between each and every variable should be analyzed. Each and every variable. I am having 4 features, 4 inputs. Okay, and I want to show relationship between first to second, second to third, third to fourth, fourth to second, or second to fourth, or fourth to first, third to first, like all. So plotting a bivariate distribution, that is n for n2 combinations, will be very complex and it will take time consuming process is there. Like 4 variables are sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. So I want to in this plot what you've seen one variable against another variable, but I don't want. I want to make combination of every variable with every other variable. Fine. So to do this one, to plot multiple pairwise bivariate distribution in data set, you can use the pair plot function there. Pair plot function. And this pair plot function will make a combinations of all the data which is present in our data sets. So it contains some parameters there. We'll check it, this parameter, what's the use of it and how can I apply it there. So let's check it. See this SNS dot pair plot. See this. Now, one variable against the another variable in it. You can check it. This graph, okay, or it will come up ahead here. This graph is sepal length on this side against the petal length on this side. Okay, or this one is sepal width against the petal width. Diagonal elements are showing the histogram of the respective data because diagonal element will be same. Sepal length against sepal width. Sorry, sepal length against sepal length. Petal length against petal length. So histogram is shown over there. Remaining others are the extra plots. Every variable, input variable with other input variable, scatter plot of them is shown here. It's called as the pair plot. See this. Directly I have applied a data frame here. This is what the advantage is. Direct data frame which I extracted. I have applied it there and now we can see this. This is how it's possible. Even it can contain some parameters also. I want to change the diagonal plot. I got diagonal values in KDE format. So distribution of data can be seen. You see distribution of sepal length is this normally. This is almost great normal again. Sepal width. This is your petal length and this is petal width. The distribution can be seen. Fine. Center diagonal we can change by this method. Okay, or I want to change the kind. Okay, kind is already scattered there, but there's one extra parameter that I can pass called as hue. Now see, interesting thing, hue applicable to many different kind of the graphs also. Sorry, species, output variable. Now see, this. Now you can observe this one. Here, according to the output variable class, species, that is Setosa, versicolor, virginica, now the colors are highlighted. Now see this one. For example, this is the plot. This is sepal width against sepal length, correct? This one or this one. Petal length against the petal width. Petal length against sepal length, sorry. So here in this is data plotted. The blue one are the Setosa flowers. This orange one are the versicolor flowers, and the green one are the virginica flowers. See, so you can identify they are grouped. There as a group, there is a separability present. There's a cluster present inside it. So at a time, I can have multiple inputs, their relation together with this kind of the plot here. Check it. And here you can identify separability. Means you just can focus on Setosa is completely different from every other types. See here, completely different almost. Here, completely separated. Here also, here also, here also, here also, here also, here also, here, everywhere. Setosa. Virginica and versicolor, they are almost connected to each other. There is a very difficult boundary present between them. So to create the flowers separately, Setosa will be the great idea. Or even if I want to show the data in the cluster format, so which one to choose, that also you can identify from them. Fine, this method. And you can, now we can see at the center here, this is a distribution of the data in for Setosa. This is distribution for Virginica. This is distribution for second versicolor, and third is for Virginica. See, same. So 3 KDA plot we can see here at the center. Here they are completely separated. See, complete here, if you just go ahead with this line, they are completely separated. Fine. So this is called as a pair plot, which is beneficial to show the relationship among multiple variables like this way in pairwise. Okay, in the pairwise operation that we can do pair. Okay, fine. So in this case, we have plotted the data, one continuous variable against another continuous variable. Okay, one continuous variable against another continuous variable. So now what do you want? I want one variable continuous means any possibilities are there, just like in 4 input we have. Maybe we are having categorical variables also. So scatter plot, Higgs plot, KDA plot, they are used to analyze continuous variable under study. These plots are not suitable when the variable under study, that is input variable, your observations are categorical. Categories are present inside. Now see, in Matplotlib, we have not observed any plot which is beneficial for us to show the relationship between categorical variable and continuous variable. Box plot is okay. Box plot can be used, but no other plot is having such kind of connectivity or method to visualize the data. So these plots are not suitable. So when one variable is categorical and one variable is continuous, or both variables are categorical, then we can make use of the strip plot, swarm plot, and Seaborn provides the interface to do so. So how do I use this one? Let's start with the first strip plot. Strip plot is used when one of the variable is categorical, okay, and it represents the data in the sorted order along with any other kind of axis, any other axis. Let's see the strip plot. Now see, on x-axis will specify the category. See here we are having one categorical variable. What is that? Species. So x-axis will specify the species. On y-axis will specify like sepal length. Data is iris. Now you can see this. Distribution of the data for different categories we can see. For Setosa, it's like that. It's starting from this minimum, maximum. Okay, see this. How distribution is there? For versicolor, see this. For Virginica is this. Fine. This is a strip plot. So it's like a special way of using the scatter plot itself. But one variable which was stored, which was shown on the x-axis is categorical. That is a categorical variable. So using that categorical variable, we have plotted this data here on this particular plot. Check it. Fine. It's called as a strip plot. And even there is one special parameter that I can apply to it. Like you can see the scattering is present there, scattering. I just don't want that scatter. I'll change y parameter now. Iris, and there's a parameter called as jitter. Make it false. Now see, you can observe the data density ranges for the categories, concluding output variable as the petal length. Sorry, against variable, opposite variable is the petal length. Okay, jitter is false, so you can now observe the connectivity of them. Setosa is always completely separated here. Versicolor, Virginica. Fine. Jitter equal to false. Now second plot is swarm plot. Swarm. So another option which we can use as an alternate to jitter is called as swarm plot. This function positions each point of the scatter plot on the categorical axis, thereby avoiding overlapping points. Here the points are overlapped. Points are overlapped. Multiple points are 150 entries are there. We can see, observe. There are 150 are there? No, because many points are overlapped on each other. Their visualization will show that. So to avoid that, we'll be making use of another kind of plot which is called as the swarm plot. So all the data is positioned on jitter. It was positioned on jitter is in jitter. So but now what I done, I've separated it. You can see this. This is completely separated. Correct. And now you can identify, yeah, it's how many elements are there on that range within a specific range. So here highest number of elements are there. You can see 3.0. In Virginica, 3.0 element or more. And if you count all the point here, they are 150. Fine. This is a swarm plot. So you, as per your understanding, which is what exactly you want to find from that. So you can make use of this particular plot by using this method. Okay. So let's move to another different way by which you can plot the data which is in categorical. So box plot. We have seen that when observe that by using matplotlib also box plot is possible, by using data frame also, by using pandas also the box plot is possible. Now here box plot is having some extra abilities that we can see now. So box plot is convenient way to visualize the distribution of data through their quartiles. So box plot usually have vertical lines extending from boxes which are termed as whiskers. We have seen that these whiskers indicate the variability outside the upper and lower quartiles. Hence, box plots are also termed as box and whisker plot or the diagram. So even outliers can also be drawn by using the box plot. Now let's see. I want to draw categorical variable against the continuous variable using the box plot. So let's see that. So here species and petal length. Now see the ranges of all of these elements. So using this box and whisker diagram, we can see this. Setosa ranges this, versicolor ranges this for species. Which one? Species, and the input variable is petal length. Fine. Virginica. Okay, what it suggests? The ranges of element starting from. So for Virginica species, petal length is from this value minimum to this value maximum. Okay, this is the median. This is 75% quartile. This is 25% quartile. Here also one more. Same. This is outlier. Correct. Outlier present. That we can see here. And by this method, it's possible to find the outliers also. Which element are present. Where high density elements are present, or where's the median. So like all. So categorical variable against continuous variable that we can plot with the help of the box plot. So similar kind of idea which was used here in it. Now using this concept, we can make use of another kind of plot is called as the violin plot. So let's change the data set now. For a different data set, we'll use a violin plot. Violin plots are combinations of box plot with kernel density estimate. Okay, they are the combinations of, let's see that, for example, if I use this data as it is here, or I'll change the data set, violin plot. So error. Yes, species. Sorry. See this. Now KD, box plot with KD, kernel density estimation. Box plot is also there in it. You can just observe. So here high density elements are there. Dense elements are present in this range. Okay, there. And here very low are present. For this case, also you can see high density is present where the lower one. This one also, Virginica. So combination of KD and the box plot is done on violin. This is a violin, is looking like a violin. That's why it's called a violin plot. And internally, if you observe that, here it contains the box and whisker. This one. The dot presented here is shown as median value. Where it's present. So just they are looking like a leaf commonly, but not exactly the same one. Here you can find a difference. A complete density of the data, density of element present at what location is high. In this particular range, it's very high. Setosa, versicolor, virginica, like that. So we can use it. We are going to change the data set now. Let's use the data set. Name is tips data set to get into this particular data, and let's see what exactly the meaning of this data set is and how it can be used ahead. So I'm changing a data set now. Tips. Okay, see what it contains. So these are the tips given by a customer to the waiter, okay, in a restaurant. Total bill is given. Okay, then how much amount of tip was given? This is mentioned here. Okay, then who was that particular person? What's the sex of it? Like female or male? Smoker or not? Day. On what particular day this tip was given? And what is the time? Dinner time or lunch time? Okay, and what is size? Means how many people were there in that group? This is the data set of tips presented here. Now we'll be using other plots now, few more plots using this particular data set. So the tips data set, tips given by the customer to the waiter at various different kind of times, okay, on different days also. So let's use two entities here, day and total bill. X-axis we have the day, y-axis will have a total bill. What is the column name? Total underscore bill, है ना? And data is equal to tips. Now you can see this violin. So 4 days are there. Day x-axis we have day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, 4 days, and on these particular days where the high density of bills are there, in which particular range you can observe that by using this violin, and then less than that till 50 is there for Thursday, and Saturday you can see Saturday bills are higher, almost they are close to the 60. Okay, with the lower value with the higher values. Violin plot. Fine. That's what we can see. Violin plot can be visualized in this way. So this violin plot internally contains whiskers also. We can just observe that it's present there. It contains uses the KDE. The wider portion of violin indicate the high density, and narrow region present the lower density there. And internally, we can see the box plot also for the respective categorical variable against the continuous variable there. Okay. Now, even for this, we can add the view. Okay. See this one. View. So like day against total bill, and here we can assign a view. View you already seen in the pair plot. We observed that I want to use and create one more categorical variable which will create multiple different outputs here. So what's a hue here? Let's say sex. Now see. Fine. So according to male and female, now these violins are separated. Check it. Where high density for male is there, okay, on this day. Okay, on female, this day, where male is very less. But density of female paid by, sorry, the bill paid by female is high here, but the values are higher in the male for the same on this day, on Friday. Okay, comparison according to hue we can perform by this particular method. So this is how it's possible. It's another category variable we can add, and accordingly we can add more details in the output. So violin plot with a hue. Now in SNS we are having a bar plot also, but again bar plot we will use a different kind of ideas. Different ways are there that bar plot can be shown. Multiple bar or stacked bar, all these abilities are pre-built, predefined, available in Seaborn package. The bar plot shows the relation between categorical variable and a continuous variable. Obviously, the same method. The data is represented in rectangular bars where the length of the bar represents proportion of data in the category. So let's see. Let us use a different data set here now. The data set name is Titanic that I will use, and then according to the Titanic data set, we will plot. See. See. So this is called a Titanic survival data set. Means total number of people where this is information about the passengers who are traveling from the Titanic ship. Okay, and when the accident was happened to the Titanic ship, so whether the person has survived or not, that information is maintained inside Titanic survival data set. Very popular. It's available on most of the sites that you can use. Survived or not. This is your outcome variable. 0 and 1 are mentioned there. And then passenger class. Okay, passenger, it's mentioned here also. See, 3 third, 1 first. They are there class. Then sex, the gender of it. Here you can see again mention who, male, man, female, 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 woman, man, like there. Duplicated column actually. What's there? Age, whether you have siblings or not, page, fair, embark, class, many different kind of parameters are present there. Okay. Is he alive or not, alone or not, like. So all of this information is mentioned inside these particular data sets. Titanic survival. So here output variable is survived, whether you are survived or not. 0 is survived, 1 is not survived. Fine. Now using this data set, we'll perform the further operation. Let's see the bar plot now. Now in case of bar plot, I will plot a bar with sex against the survived. So let's see. See, how many males are survived, how many females are survived. Okay, survived, that we can see here. Male and female. Females are more survived, almost 3 to 4 times more than the male. Okay, fine. Simple bar plot that you can check from the data directly I've taken. It's not required to write separate x and y columns there. I'm just taking data, and the data I'm taking first in x and second in y. Now to this plot also we can add hue according to, let's say, class. Multiple bars. Now here also you can observe first class is blue, maximum people are survived in first class. Okay, then second class, then third class, and under that also female are more survived. Getting? So this ability of having multiple bars is assigned to the bar plot. Check out syntax. So hue is a parameter which we can extract in the functions of the Seaborn, so that we'll add more details to this particular visualizations, like that. So at least 3 elements are there, 3 different features are used in this data visualization. In pair plot we have used 4, here we have used 3. So likewise we can add more and more details in it. So this is a bar plot that we can have. Okay, fine. The next one is a count plot. Now count plot is also one of the way to analyze the data in univariate format, but it is categorical. It is categorical data. Most of the time, okay, I use this particular plot very commonly to identify how many number of elements are there for respective category there. See, for example, if I going to check the class Titanic dot Titanic of class dot, there's a function called as value counts. See, value counts, it will show the count of all the elements, like how many are in for third 491, first 216, second 184. Okay, fine. These are the numbers. I want to visualize all of them. I want to visualize. So to visualize that, we'll be making use of a count plot. Single element a class. So to perform operations on the class, we'll be making use of the count plot function, but in visualized format. This is what we have done. Even one more method is there. If you know that, from collections, we'll import the counter class. Okay, and you pass that Titanic of class here. You can see it's a dictionary. Same method is there. You can see third 491, then first 216, and second 184. They're extracted. But this is a number. I want to show them in the graph format. So SNS dot count plot. So we'll have x is equal to Titanic of class. Okay, see this. Where highest number of survivals are there? Sorry, total number of people are there in third class, but highest survived are there from first class. First class people are given preference, I think. That's why it is the output is something like this. Out of all the people, highest number of people were present in the third class, then first class, and then second class. Fine. This is the count plot that we can see. Applicable. See, basically, it is used to check the data balanced or not. There's a concept called as imbalance data set. Imbalance. So whenever you're building a machine learning algorithm, we need a balanced data set, which means equal entries for every class should be present. Okay, equal entries for every class. See, for example, if I'm checking another survived. Now see, for survived, 0 entries are more than 500. 1 entries are like class. How many categories? Or let's see, sex. See, how many male, how many female? Again, if you check it, male are more, female are less, but female are more survived than the male. Correct. Or P class, passenger class, same only I don't know why extra column is there. The same columns are there. P class, check it. Imbalance data set is there if you just compare that one. Okay, I'll apply what exactly balancing means. Now see, if I use SNS dot count plot on the species and data frame is data is iris. See, from iris, Setosa 50A, versicolor 50A, virginica 50. The completely balanced data set is there. Completely balanced data set that we can have it there. So after data is balanced, then it becomes easy for us to train this and build a perfect machine learning model there. There's a concept called as data resampling, which can be applied on the data set which is containing imbalanced data present in it. Data is balanced, but here finds as the data is balanced, so machine learning algorithm can be easily applied and we can generate the results as per our expectations. Fine. So count plot. Count. Even there's a parameter called as uh, palette. It's if I want to use the colors. See, like heat map we say. So according to the color, we can identify where highest number of elements are there. Blues, or I think if it is greens are there. See, greens. Okay, so with the numbers, these colors will be changing. Reds, yes, see, like that. Intensity. So according to the count, you are changing the intensity of that color. See this. This is how the count plots are there. See, which these I regularly used to check the count of element present in it. Now, next go with the point plot. Point plots are served the same as the bar plot, but in different style. Rather than a full bar, the value of estimate presented by a point at a certain height on the other axis. It's called as the point plot. We'll see that one. See this. Again, 6 against survived. See, number of male survived and female survived. So only point are given and they're connected. Okay. So you can check out the comparison now. Common. Only if you check the bar plot, this will show the bar. But if you use the point plot, you're showing a point and their connected points are there. So in this point or this particular plot also, we can add the hue. Let's say hue is class. See, now here also you can compare class. So again, maximum first class people are survived, which are in blue color. Then orange class. Okay, orange is that is second class, and the green that is third class. How the people are survived that we can see. So this is how point plot is. This is a special case of the bar plot. Fine. Even we can have a point wide form data also, but before that there's a concept of box plot that we have seen. See, at a time I want to perform operation on the box plot. See, it was I think missing above. SNS dot box plot, and here you apply the iris. Okay, check it. Directly I applied it. Sorry, I think what's missing. Take see this. At a time, if I apply completely a complete data set, I applied just like you applied to the pair plot. Here I applied to the box plot. So how many elements are there? 4. You can see sepal length, their ranges. This complete statistical structure of that data we can find by using this method. Sepal length is this one, sepal width. This is petal length, and this is petal width. So petal width is the slowest, or sorry, very small number of elements are there. Amount is very small. Sepal width, maximum element are gathered in a crowd there. Okay, and highest ranges are there for petal length that we can see. All of them. Or if you want to make the orientation change, this ability is also given here. So orient is equal to, let's say, H horizontal. See. So like this also we can use box plot. At a time, multiple elements we can apply, and accordingly we can generate the result over here. These are the method that we can apply. Many such different kind of the graphs are there that we can use, and based on that, different kind of visualizations are possible. There's one more plot called as the factor plot, which we can apply. You can just check it. Categorical data that we visualize is 2 plots, like point plot and factor. Second is the factor plot that we can use. What factor plot does? Factor plot draws a categorical plot on facet grid. So facet grid is there. I'll show you. Using the kind parameter, we can choose box plot, volume plot, bar plot, or strip plot also. Let's see that one, how to use this factor plot. But for factor plot, I'm using the last data set, that is exercise. See, exercise is equal to load data set. So the data set I'm loading here, and see what exactly it contains. See, ID, diet, pulse rate, time for it you have done exercise, and what kind of. That's mentioned here. Now, this is a simple 5-column data set is there, and using this data set, we can visualize something. So let's use a factor plot for that. So here I'll draw the factor plot for time against pulse. Let's see that. SNS dot factor plot x is equal to time. So you can see the time here, 1 minute, 5 minutes something, against y is equal to pulse, and data is equal to exercise. Now see this. 1 minute, 15 minutes, only 3 elements are there. For 1 minute, what was my pulse rate? This is the pulse rate. Okay, for 1 minute. For 15 minutes, the pulse rate is from here to here. Second category. And third, for 30 minutes, the pulse rate is from here to here. See, you can observe that as you increase the time of exercise, then how pulse rate is increasing. And what are the ranges of it? Okay, for 15 minute minimum pulse rate is this, maximum is this. For 30 minute minimum is this, maximum is this. Fine. So this is the method that we can use, and even you can add a view also. So what kind of exercise we are done? Let's add that kind view. So when resting, what were the pulse rate? When walking, what were the pulse rate? And when running, then what were the pulse? See, you can see there's no much difference between resting and walking pulse rate. But for running, the pulse rate is high. So you can conclude that when you run, pulse rate increases like that. Fine. And what range it is increasing? That's also mentioned there using the factor plot. Fine. So there are the common ideas to use the kind of plot here. This is a factor plot that we can apply, and we can change the kind also, means what type of plot you require here. For example, I'll check it. Kind is equal to violin. So violin plots are shown there. For that, if I want box, the box plots are shown now. What are the ranges? For 1 minute, three different kind of race, walking, running, how they're differentiated. And when you're running, then see what for 1 minute running, for 15-minute running, and for 20-30-minute running. Fine. Same case I can apply to the bar plot also. You apply the bar. Factor plot is very essential community that we can see. See this one. See, this is what the flexibility which are present in different kind of the plots which we use here in the SNS. Like we have facet grids are there, and many more. Let's go with the last kind of the plot here, which is used to show the linear relationships. So most of the times we use the data set that contain multiple quantity variables, and goal of analysis is containing a line. Linear equation is there. Just like in the previous session we have talked about x and against y, the line connectivity was present there. So when we build such kind of model, we have to show the result in the linear format. In the linear format, basically. So to show that one, we'll be making use of a scatter plot. But I want a combination. So while building this model, we often check for multi-collinearity, where we have to see the correlation between all the combinations of continuous variable. We'll take a necessary action to remove multi-collinearity if it is present inside it. So there are two functions which are used to perform the operations. The first is REG plot, regression plot, and second is LM plot, that is linear model plot. Actually, if you see the output will be same, but the long form data is there inside the LM plot. Let's see that one, how to use it. Okay, if you're aware about a linear regression, for example, I'm having a data frame here. I don't have pandas, I think. Oh, it's there. So see this simple information I have here. I'm having the salary information of see, just check this. Can observe this. So years experience and salary, two columns are there in data set, total 30 rows are there. And general idea is that when experience increases, salary also increases. Correct. General idea. But I want to show that in the plot, that's in the plot format, one experience on x-axis and salary on y-axis. So you can observe that this data is linearly connected. So see this one. So if you use scatter plot here, yes experience against TF of salary. See this. Getting. This is a general matplotlib plot, but I want model created and the line which is averaging all of them, so I can directly make use of the regression plot in Seaborn. So this is a common idea we can use. I don't have to apply linear regression function, linear regression class, nothing. Directly using the plot, I can perform operation. See, regression plot, where on x-axis we'll have the years experience, On y-axis, I will have salary. Data is df. Now see this regression plot. The original data is here, okay, and this is expected result, which is giving some highest amount of accuracy. The model, linear regression model, which is created, is plotting, is visualization, you can do directly by using this method. Or I can use one more plot called as LM plot. See, LM plot. Similar idea is there. This is linear regression, the model plot, where original dots are there and central line is the model which we have created using linear regression on this data. And if you observe that there is a light shadow present, there, it's called as error, residual error is there. So maybe the accuracy of this algorithm or this data set on linear regression is 95% almost. And with this, we can do the predictions, predictive analytics. When you experience with it, then what can be the salary of that particular person is there in future, like that. So these are different sort of values, many more different kind of object, different kind of functionalities, many different kind of classes are present there in the Seaborn package, and with the help of it, different methodologies to show the data, to visualize the data is possible here. Okay, fine. So that's from my side. If you have any questions or doubts, so you can ask. Many more functions are also possible. They are also present there. You can use that one. You can practice it.
Sir, I have one doubt. My name is Chanchal
Yeah.
Kedia. Just I want to know what is the difference between tabular and Seaborn or Matplotlib.
Tabula. What is tabula? Tableau. Tableau.
Tableau, yes.
Ma'am, frankly speaking, I have not used Tableau ever. I
Okay.
have not seen that one also. I'm working in programming language only, visualization.
Okay.
Whatever I know about Tableau, Tableau is only visualization tool. We can visualize all kind of data. Predefined functions, packages are there. We just have to apply your data. You have to set the input output variable or any other variables, and you can generate the plots. It's not a programming language. If you want to use complete coding, for starting from data importing till the visualization predictions, everywhere if you want to use uniform ideas of visualization or model building, data cleaning, pre-processing, that time we can prefer Python programming language or any programming language there, or you can choose Matplotlib or Seaborn. Tableau is only for visualization. It cannot do any other kind of modeling technique. And
Okay.
here what we use, we can combine it with the predictive modeling also, data importing, cleaning, pre-processing, all operations we can do by this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions? Please put into the chat box. Some questions are in chat box also.
Just a minute. Yeah. How to save these plots in JPG? Yeah. JPG is possible. Wait a minute. There is a library called as PyLab, and in PyLab library we have a function called as. Wait a minute. I'll show you. Savefig function is there. The savefig function is to save this file. For example, I want to save this output in JPG file, so I can import PyLab, and when the graph is over, then we can write PyLab dot savefig, and let's write output dot JPG. Okay, so this graph will be saved in this particular file output.jpg. So in your current working directory, this file will be saved. Okay, that's how it's possible to save this file. Or how to go for labeled clustering using Seaborn. Label clustering, yes, label clustering is also possible. I just shown that pair grid. There also it's possible to use. Automatically is there. We can apply the input variable, an output variable. Basically, to show the clusters, we can use two different kind of data, means two different kind of features, one on x-axis, one on y-axis. Same, we can use the same pair plot, we can apply and use it there. So any other? Okay.
Any questions?
Okay.
So,
one more.
can you swipe up a little bit?
Above.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Which topic you require?
Yes.
Sir, because I seen that warning and I'm not understand about that.
Where? Which topic? This one.
Yes, sir. That's sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, actually, what they have done, there is a concept called a deprecation. Okay, there's a it means that now current version, I'm using previous version of SNS there. Currently, they have changed. For example, what I've done here, kind bar and factor plot. Currently, they have converted this plot into another name called as cat plot. Means maybe after 2-3 version revision, that this function will be removed. Kind will be removed there. They are continuously making a changes because it's very difficult to remember the change. When I use last month, in this month, I see that it is not now available. They have created some alternative option to that. That's why this warning is there. Maybe in future, they are going to remove. See, it's the original name will be removed in the future release. Fine. That's warning given. Currently it's available, but in future, this function is named will be cat plot. Okay, that's what is showing.
Yes, sir.
It happens number of times. On library, the concept is there. We just have to forget previous one and you have to focus on the new idea. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so we will be sharing the materials, no issue.
Okay.
Okay. I think no further questions, sir.
Okay, no problem, sir.
So it's on. Thank you, sir, from the all participants that you have nicely taken over the sessions from yesterday. Definitely, participants will enjoy these sessions. Shortly. So on behalf of Sandeep Foundations, Sandeep Institute of Engineering and Management, we would like to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt thanks to you for serving as a resource for the short-term training programs on data analytics Python.
Thank you, sir.
Basically sponsored by the AICTE. We appreciate the time and efforts that you have spent during the event. The session were highly engaging and thought-provoking and educative, sir. So it was enjoyed by one and all participants. So again, thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution, time and efforts, and success of this STTP. And hope the same cooperation in the near future as well, sir. So thank you, sir, for continuing from phase 1 to phase 2. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. Participant, please fill the attendance and feedback link that I have posted here. And next session will be of Dr. S.T. Gande, sir, on machine learning and its applications. So please be there at sharp 3 p.m. So now next onward, so hopefully some of the platforms, basic platforms of Python have been covered. And from now onward, we will going through the application part of the data analytics, data science, and machine learning. Okay. So today from afternoon, today morning also we have a resource person of Dr. M.B. Kokre sir, then Dr. D.B. Kulkarni sir, Dr. Gitanjali Sinde ma'am. So very nice speakers now onward are there. So hopefully you will enjoy the sessions. Thank you. So we'll meet at sharp 3 p.m.